Hi guys, so today I'm going to do a book review on 7 books, I think. So I'm going to get started. I have them in categories this time. I have them in the ones that I didn't like, the ones that I sort of liked, and then the 2 that I really did like. So let's get started. I'm trying to use my arm / elbow as like a tripod handle thing, because if I hold it up like this, it just, I don't know. It's just hard for me because my arm is hurt and everything. So this book I had for a really long time. I got this at Walmart. I think I got this book like in June. I never had a chance to read it because in my head I have a book list and I'm like, I want to finish these books before I read something else. So this is a Harlequin Desire book. It's by Maureen Child. I think that's how you say her name. It's Triple the Fun, Billionaires and Babies, and this is what it looks like. I think this book only had like 10 chapters, I'm not sure. So what it is, what this book is about is it's about this, oh no, it had 11 chapters in it, sorry you guys, it had 11 chapters in it. It's a small little book, and I got this at Walmart. They don't have it anymore because they always change them out like every month. But what happens is there's this guy, and he runs, I don't know what it was. I think it was like, I don't even know what it was. I forget what he ran to make him a billionaire because it's been so long since I read this book. But he says he's captain of industry, so I think he runs some kind of like industry business thing. So what happens is he gets a letter from this woman saying that he fathered 3 triplets, 2 boys and a girl, and the mother died. And he got sued because the woman who has him now was his baby mama's sister, I think. So yeah, so she's in a pickle because she doesn't know how to raise 3 kids by herself. She has no guy. So what ends up happening is she meets him and they fall in love and stuff, and then they raise the kids together. But you can tell I really didn't like this book. It's not one of the greatest books that I've read that was like a Harlequin sort of book, so it really wasn't that good. I didn't even do like a book review on it on my Tumblr account either. But yeah, like I only read some of it, and then I got bored with it because it just was like, I don't know, it was just getting to the point where it was like getting a little bit corny, sort of, if you understand that. So next, I already said I got that on Walmart. So this one is Toy Cemetery by William J. Johnstone. And I got this at like a flea market / farmer's market. And I don't know how much it was because I bought like a bulk load of books. So I don't know how much this one was individually. But it wasn't $2. This thing says it's $2, but I know it wasn't $2. So here's what it looks like. So, I did not finish this book. What happened was, this book was a little bit weird, okay, you guys? It was, like, even weird for me. So, what happens is there's 3 parts in this book. 2 of them have 13 chapters in it, and I think one has only 10 chapters in it. So, what happens is this guy, for whatever reason, it was because his, like, great aunt, I think, died or something. His great aunt died or something, and he brought his kid with him so that they could go to his hometown because there was a will. They had to read her will and everything because she was supposed to be like, I think she was supposed to be like a rich sort of woman, and she was really old too, so you guys know. So what happened is he takes her to his hometown and he realizes that everything is just completely different from what he grew up in, and he realized that none of these people have aged at all, and there hasn't been any like kids running around. Like all the kids are teenagers. There's not like any new babies or toddlers or little kids running around except for like teenagers, the group that his daughter's in, and that's it. So what happens is I don't even know what even happens in this book because this book is so weird. It's like it goes from one storyline to another. I mean, there are breaks in it, so you know there's another storyline happening. But it's really weird. Okay, so here what it is the toys, what I gather from it, the toys come to life. And for some reason, I don't know why they come to life. It's supposed to be the devil. I think they said like the devil took over this town, and that's why, like, everybody's weird, because the people he grew up with are basically like mannequins, and they're just told what to say. So every time he ran into somebody he knew from a long time ago, like his friends or something, they all sort of like say the same thing to him, and it's sort of like a pre-recorded message, sort of. And he doesn't understand it. And then he realizes that all these people are dead, and they were turned into mannequins. And for some reason, there's these toys, and these toys come to life too, and they talk and everything. And these toys are both good and evil, and they're trying to. There's this preacher, a father. He's like a preacher or a pastor or something. He's blind, and he's trying to tell these kids, the guy's daughter, that they have to do like an exorcism on the town to get the town to be back to what it was. I didn't finish it because I was getting so weirded out, because this book didn't make any sense to me. Like, I don't even know what the whole storyline was, because he brought his ex-wife into the town for some reason, and then people thought that that ex-wife killed somebody in the town with their daughter, and then they brought in these two news people from a different town, because they wanted people from a different town to know what was happening so they could help or something like that. I don't know what happens. It was just really confusing. I didn't finish it, so I'm sorry guys, I didn't finish that book. This book I did finish, and this is called Farewell My Cream by Chantal Thomas, and I got this at a library book sale. I don't know how much it was, but this is what it looks like. It was separated into 4 different parts. This is what it looks like, so you guys can see. It's all the debauchery, betrayal, power, and tragedy of Marie Antoinette's last days in court. So, and this book is like a fictional, historical fiction. And what it is it's this girl, I forget what her name is, too. Oh, Aggie Sidoni something. And she was the Queen's reader during the time of the French Revolution. So what happens is it has 4 different parts. Actually 3, because the first part is just a prologue. So what happens is you sort of have to know a little bit about the French Revolution to understand what was going on at that time. But what happens is it's about this girl, and oh wait, no, how many parts were there really? Like, seriously, I don't even remember. Say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there was five parts. I'm sorry guys, there was 5 parts, and then one of them was a prologue. So the first 3 parts of the book, well, minus the prologue, the first 3 parts in the book were about how this girl, how she was reacting to the French Revolution happening, and how everything was shut up in the palace in Versailles, where she didn't live. I think she lived there. She lived there, and all the servants lived there, and the king and the queen, Marie Antoinette, lived there. So it doesn't really talk about like what happened, like about how her head got chopped off and anything. I thought that was going to happen in the end of the book, but it didn't. So it just talks about the 3 days before she died, about the French Revolution and everything else happening. And then they're not really like chapters, but it goes like, you read the first one, it says 1789 and whatever, July 1789 or whatever. And then it says, okay, like this day, like it says dawn from 7 to 8 or whatever. And it goes on like that, sort of, in the book. So it's sort of like a timeline, sort of. And it goes through. It's like, okay, then it's like 12 o'clock, and they're doing mass in their chapel and stuff like that. And then the last part of the book is 1810. I don't remember what day it was, but it was like 1810. And it's still with this girl. It's still with the Aggie book. She's like the narrator in the whole entire book. So the last part is about what happened after all this stuff happened. And she's sort of like scared, and she has nightmares about it and stuff. So that's basically what that book's about. It really wasn't that good, because, I mean, this book you could probably use maybe in like a history sort of lesson, or like if you're a teacher and you need like a book for your kids to read or something. And it's historical fiction. It does have a lot in it. Like, it talks about the Bastille, like them raging the Bastille and stuff. But, I don't know. It was just really raw. And by raw, I mean, it was basically just really boring. Like, because it wasn't stagnant. It was like, it was timed, and it was just boring, because it was like, they had like, what I chapter was supposed to be. It was like 2 or 3 pages. I really didn't like it just because it was just raw, and it didn't have a really good flow to it at all, and especially because like since most of these names are in French and stuff, it's really hard to like pronunciate their names when you're not a French person or have taken French or anything, so you don't know how to say your names. And then there's so many other like different characters in the book that like are in it for like 2 minutes, and then like in the next part they're in it for the whole thing, and then you forget who they are. So I don't recommend you read this book because it really wasn't that good. So the book that I sort of liked for this month was the last 3 are V.C. Andrews books. So this is a V.C. Andrews book. I got it at a library's book sale, and it's a 2-in-1 edition, so there's 2 books in here, and the first one is Broken Wings, and the second one is Midnight Flight, and this is what it looks like. The first, I don't know. Okay, so the Broken Wings is about these 3 girls, Phoebe, Robin, I don't know what the other one's name was, Teal. Yeah, Robin, Teal, and Phoebe. And what happens is the prologue, they're all in this sort of like detention / prison / school sort of thing. It sort of reminds me of, if you ever saw the movie Holes, it reminds me sort of like that, but they don't take holes or anything like me of that kind of school. So anyway, this is what happens is they're in this thing and they're telling each other stories about how they got there. So Robin, Teal, and Phoebe are 3 girls who were like, they came from like dysfunctional families, or one had a single mother and didn't know because she slept around with all these guys, so they didn't know who her father was. And one of them came from like a rich sort of family, stuff like that. So in Broken Wings, it's basically how they got to this detention / prison / school sort of jailish thing. And in Midnight Flight, it talks about how horrible it was for them to live there, where they had to earn things, like they had to earn their clothes back, they had to sleep on the floor, the hardwood floor, and live in these like nasty conditions because they had to earn points to get their stuff back and get like warm showers and their beds back, everything. So this woman was supposed to be like a scientist sort of. She was trying to see if you can take these girls and put them in this bad environment, that if they earn their stuff back, they wouldn't take stuff for granted, so that they would become like ladies of society and stuff like that. But what happened, at the end of the book, they do escape, and then the epilogue is what their lives are like, I guess, like after all this stuff happens. So yeah, so this book was really okay, but it did remind me of all the other 4. Like, this one only had 2-in-1, but there's other ones, like there's an orphan series, there's a shooting star series, there's some other kind of series too, where she has like 4-in-1. And her 4-in-1 books and this one are basically exactly the same. Where like these girls, they end up being friends, and then they get taken away to some like place they don't like, and then they escape and everything. It's sort of what that whole series sort of thing is about. So yeah. So these 2, I just started a new series by V.C. Andrews, and this is called the Cutler series. And the first book in the series is called Dawn, and this one only had 16 chapters in it, and an epilogue and a prologue. So this is what it looks like. So I don't really like giving a lot of stuff away in these books, because then you wouldn't have to read it, because there are lots of shocking things that happen. But basically what happens is Dawn is raised by these two people she thought were her parents. The one died, the mother died, and then her fake dad got arrested for kidnapping her. So she finds out who her real parents are. Well, her real parents take her in, and then the grandmother hates her guts. For some reason, she doesn't know until the very end of the second book. That's how you know what happens. So she lives with her new rich snobby parents and her spoiled her spoiled brother and sister. And that's what happens in that book and everything. Then what happens is they finally get rid of her. They send her off to a musical school because that's what she likes to do. She likes to sing. So they send her off to like a musical school just for like the arts and stuff. So this is where Secrets of the Morning come in. That's this second book in the Cutler series. And that one had a prologue. Yeah, that one had a prologue, but it only had 18 chapters in it. There was no epilogue. So in this book, she gets sent to the school, and it's like the highlight of her dream. Everything's going good and everything, until she gets knocked up by one of her teachers. Her guy she gets knocked up to, his name's Michael Sutton, and he's like a real jerk. Like, he's like a celebrity. He's like an opera singer, but he does like everything. He like acts and does Broadway and stuff. Well, anyway, Dawn tells Michael that she got knocked up. And at first everything was okay, and then he literally like just left and gone. He left and went away. He went to London to do some kind of Broadway thing. So then as she was like going hysterical, she gets into an accident. And then they have to call her like parents and grandmother. And her grandmother's like really evil. And her grandmother decides to take her to the grandmother's sister's place called the Meadows, where she has to, all these horrible things happen where she can't do anything. She has to work and clean, and she's pregnant and everything, and she has the baby. And then her grandmother's sister, her name's Emily, takes the baby away from her and then gives it to somebody else, and she doesn't know what happened or anything. So then she goes back to the hotel where her family lives in the first book, because they own the hotel and everything. And she finally figures out what happens to her daughter that she had. And her grandmother dies, and she's left to run the whole hotel business and everything by herself. And then her brother that she thought was her brother but really wasn't, he is going to marry her, but that's in the third one. So I really like these two books. They were really, really good. They were better than the 2-in-1 book. So I hope you guys like my book review. Comment below and tell me if you want me to read any more books, or have any ideas of anything you want me to do on this channel besides book reviews or book related videos. I don't know. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time with another video.